What's going on YouTube? This is Just My Opinion, and today I will be reviewing the new Black album titled Free Black. Now, Black is a Atlanta R&B artist who has been making music since around 2011, but was in kind of a shady record deal. He finally was able to put out his debut album just a few months ago. I was put onto this guy by my boy Fred Red. Now, I had heard this was being compared to Bryson Tiller's album Trap Soul. I wasn't really a huge fan of Trap Soul, but I decided to give this a shot anyway. And right off the bat with the first song, Never Know, I could definitely see why he's being compared to Bryson Tiller. He was definitely doing the sing-rapping kind of a la Bryson Tiller, or Drake for that matter. But his voice, his actual singing voice, reminds me more of Frank Ocean, but just more southern. And not only that, but the production that he was going for was a lot moodier than Bryson Tiller's, I would say. It is in that same trap style, but it's more wavy, more reverbed. And not only that, but I think that Black also sounds more comfortable on this type of production as opposed to Bryson Tiller. He comes across as with more passion, and he also comes across with more pain in his voice as well, which blends nicely with the instrumentals. Now, this song in particular is all about his come up, basically talking about how he has worked hard to get to where he is, how he's stayed true to himself, and that how all he really cares about are his real friends, his baby, and his family, and making the music that he wants to make. So after that we get the song Rules, which features kind of more moody and wavy version of, I would say, like a Future beat, but this felt a little bit more moody than a Future song, I would even say. And of course his voice sounds a lot better than Future's as well. And this song is basically all about all the lessons that he's learned in his life, and he kind of puts together his own rules. So these first two songs that we hear on the album were decent songs, but not really enough to grab my attention. But the next song after that, Problems, which was the first single to be released from this album, I gotta say, this is where the album really picks up and starts to get great. This was a fantastic song, one of my standout tracks on the album. The beat itself, I haven't heard a beat like this in a while. It definitely features the wavy, moody trap production on it that you would hear from an Atlanta artist, but it has a completely different feel to it. If you hear the song, you definitely hear what I'm talking about. It also has these very sinister low end bass and kick drums, and the lyrics are almost just as sinister too. The songwriting itself kind of reminds me of a Drake or a Weeknd, but more mature in its subject matter. This is basically all about a relationship that he is no longer in anymore. He basically wanted a girl that was on the same page as him, but it comes to find out that this girl was just attention seeking, a little bit crazy. She was fame seeking, she was lazy. One of the lines that stuck out to me in this song was the part where he said that they didn't have money to go out to eat really, but whenever they go out, she ordered the most expensive steak, and he basically just can't deal with this relationship anymore. So he's basically saying, I'm not stressing about it anymore, you do you, and I'm going to go find someone else. I'll be good. The next song we get after that is Free, which again features almost eerily similar production to the song previous to it, Problems, but just a slightly different tempo and also maybe slightly more mellow. And the subject matter as well is again about a relationship and about how a relationship of his didn't work out, and now he feels free to basically do whatever he wants. Now, some people are also speculating too, though, that this song could be a double entendre where he may also be talking about his relationship with his previous record label, and now he feels like he is free to do whatever it is that he wants to do, meanwhile the record label isn't as free. So it could mean either or. I still feel like this is more so about a relationship than the actual record label, but I'll let you decide. Now the next song after that is Lernia, which has a very atmospheric R&B sounding beat to it. It kind of reminds me of something that Drake would do, basically because there's a lot of heavy reverbs on it and also kind of the warped vocal effects as well. And this song is basically all about getting this girl to try new things and new experiences, particularly in the bedroom. Fellas, forewarning, if you're listening to this with your girl, you better double wrap it because you will get her pregnant. I'm warning you right now. Now, the next song after that is called MTF You, which I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know what that abbreviation is supposed to mean. Haven't figured that out yet. This song, production-wise, actually reminds me of one of my favorite Weekend songs, The Zone, but maybe just a little bit slower tempo. It has, again, very reverb synths in it. It kind of has an ethereal vocal sample in the background. This song is all about Black being tricked by a girlfriend's friend to cheating on his girlfriend and having sex with her, and how this girl basically was waiting for Black's relationship with his girl to kind of start slipping so that she could slide in there and have sex with him. Basically just a These Hoes Ain't Loyal song. These girls, man, nowadays are tricky and sly as hell. You girls don't think you are, but you most certainly are. Not only that, but he also explains about how he regrets this as well, and he's owning up to the fact that he did this. You know, oftentimes we get blamed for our actions, but a lot of time you girls are way sneakier than you think, and way more manipulative with your intentions. So kudos to you, Black, for making a song like this. I definitely fucks with the message behind this. So the next song we get after that is Loving You, which is another standout track of mine. This has a little bit more of a contemporary R&B feel. It still features that kind of spacey production that and wavy production that has been throughout this entire project, but has more of a contemporary R&B sound as far as the tempo and the actual percussion. And this song is basically all about another relationship of his that is on the rocks. And he basically talks about how he feels like he's putting in all this time and all this effort into this relationship, and he feels like this girl that he's with is not. And he basically is telling her that I don't want to waste more of my time and I don't want to put my heart into this relationship if you're not going to be doing the same thing. And this is probably his best vocal performance as well on the entire album. And I love the passion behind this song. I love the message behind this song. I feel the same way. I don't want my time to be wasted with by anybody. Everybody's time out there is precious, and everybody that we decide to let ourselves kind of open up to and give our all to is very slim. And I don't want my time to be played with either, much like this dude, so I could definitely relate to this song. After that, we get the song Getting Old, which again is another very pretty melodic contemporary R&B sounding track. Again, another great message behind this song, basically talking about how we're all getting old, our time is very, very short. He wants to try new things in this relationship. And I love the line how he says that going out is getting old. I feel the same way sometimes. You know, you're always going out to the bars and stuff, and I mean, it's fun and all, but sometimes it's just like, I can't do this anymore. I need a break from it. I want to do something different. I want to try something new. So I could definitely get behind the message of this song. Again, another very nicely written song. And after that, we get Worse Luck, another outstanding standout track of mine. Instrumentally, this is basically just kind of a piano ballad. Nice, beautiful pianos to it. The song is basically all about his past and about how he feels like he has the worst luck with love. He also talks about how maybe it's because he's not working hard enough at love. Maybe he's not putting as much attention to it as maybe he should. So maybe that's why some of his relationships don't work out. And another line that stuck out to me as well too in this song is about how he feels like he doesn't want this girl to settle for a guy like him. Again, something I could kind of relate to as well, because as much as I don't want to settle for somebody that I'm not as interested in as they may be interested in me, I also don't want to see somebody else settle for me and feel like I'm kind of a second option to them as well. This song will hit you in the feels. And then we get my favorite song on the entire album, I Could Hear My Ex Calling. This is the only song that really features a high profile Atlanta producer, Southside. It has a very minimal chilly trap beat, and this beat was actually used on Future's project Purple Rain for the song Perky's Calling, but this song is way better than Future's song. I think that his flow was a lot better. Vocally, he sounds way more comfortable over this production. Not only that, but the beat actually sounds like it was mixed and mastered better for this album as opposed to Future's album Purple Rain. And this song, of course, is all about how his ex is calling him up while he's in the studio, and he basically doesn't want anything to do with her. She just wants him for his fame. It's funny because I can relate to this as well, where, you know, whenever somebody sees that you're doing something successful or whatever, they want to all of a sudden out of the blue hit you up when they need something, when they want something, when they see that you're doing well for yourself. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I could definitely mess with the message behind this song as well. So the last and final song after X Calling is Alone / EA6, which is a two-part song which gets dragged out to about 9 minutes, but it doesn't really feel as long as it is because it kind of feels split up into two different songs. Now, this first song out of the two, Alone, starts out with an interview of him kind of talking about the record label and the situation about his music. And I love the part where he talks about how that within certain record labels and within the music industry as well, you become a song more than you become a person. And I really love the message behind that because everybody at the end of the day is human. Now, the first part of the song kind of has these reverb synths as far as production wise, and he talks more also about the record label situation, how he doesn't want to conform to the music industry standards, and he also talks about how he doesn't want to be told how to do his job by somebody who has never done what he's done. And I love that message as well. Don't tell me how to do my job if you can't do it as good as I can. And this kind of flows directly into the song EA6, and the interlude between it I thought was really, really interesting as well. We get another interview of him just talking. I love the part about how he talks about how his life and his success and everything in the industry and him as a person is kind of like a wave, and whatever he does has a ripple effect onto so many other people. So it flows directly into EA6 after this interlude, which I thought was the better of the two. It's a little bit more up-tempo. It's kind of reminds me of Drake style production, very reverb, percussions, and synths lying in the background. I thought his flow was great, and the song was basically all talking about where he's from, East Atlanta 6, basically just talking about the lifestyle of living in Atlanta. So in conclusion, I really enjoyed this project. I was completely surprised by it. Kind of wish that I had heard it earlier than I did. Maybe one or two of these songs would have wound up on my top 30 songs of 2016. What he's doing may not be new necessarily as far as hip hop and R&B goes, but I just love the fact that he's going at it with a completely different approach. And I definitely see the comparisons with his contemporaries, but he's definitely different from all of them. I can see the Bryson Tiller comparisons, although I believe that the production that he goes over is way moodier than Bryson's, and I feel like he sounds way more comfortable and more passionate over this type of production than Bryson does. I could see the comparisons between that of The Weeknd and Drake, especially as far as storytelling goes and songwriting, but I think that he's coming at it with a little bit more of a mature approach than a Drake or a Weeknd even at times. And I could definitely see the similarities as far as Frank Ocean. I think he sounds very, very similar to Frank Ocean as far as his voice goes, but just more southern. And not only that, He just comes across as very passionate, very hungry, very humble, and also extremely relatable. So overall, I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this project and a high recommendation by me. I definitely think that anybody out there who is a fan of any of the artists that I've mentioned in this review should definitely go give this a listen. This is just my opinion, and thank you for watching.
I don't wanna lose myself.